Value of doing this exercise where you're asking yourself, do we have the right people in the right seats doing the right things, helps you assess if you're set up for success or not. It helps you assess if you have the right skills on the team or not. Also, if people are in roles that they enjoy or not. Hi, I'm Sri Seshadri. I'm a CEO coach and a growth advisor. I work with CEOs and senior teams of mid-market companies helping to accelerate their growth. I work with a lot of CEOs and senior teams, and one of the common challenges that I notice is about executing on strategy. Right? In order to have really solid execution, you need a culture of accountability. And in order to have a culture of accountability, one of the key elements is having role clarity. I'm always asking my CEOs to think about a specific question, which is, do you have the right people in the right seats doing the right things? Many CEOs don't have a very good understanding of all the different roles that need to be executed effectively for their business to be successful, right? When you think about a lot of companies, they'll have an org chart. They'll say, this person sits here, there might be the CEO, and you have this person reporting into them, and this person, and so on and so forth, and then the entire org chart. One of the tools that I use with my clients very early on in engagement is basically a functional accountability chart, which means that we identify all the different functions that are necessary for the company to be successful. So you might say, we need the head of company, we need a sales function, we have a marketing function, we have operations, we have technology, we have HR, we have accounting, we have a finance or treasury function, and so forth. So once you map out all those different functions, to identify who are all the people who are accountable for each of these functions. And when we do that, I'm looking for a couple of things. Are there some functions where more than one person is accountable? That is a red flag. Are there some functions where nobody is accountable? They think somebody else is doing it and they can't identify exactly who owns it. That is a problem. And then I also notice, is there one person who is actually responsible for too many functions? Sometimes the CEO, knowingly or unknowingly, is basically saying, I own all of these things. That is also a problem, which basically means that they're trying to do too much. So when you build the core functional accountability chart, you list out all the different functions that are required for your company to be successful, and then you identify who is the one person accountable for each of these roles. If you find that there's multiple names associated with one function, that needs to be clarified. If you have some functions where nobody's assigned, then somebody needs to take ownership of it. If you find that one person is spread too thin and has ownership of too many functions, that is a problem. Then you need to rethink exactly how you'll organize that. Once you have that, the next step is to think about, for each function, what are your leading and lagging indicators. I'm going to be making another video where I'm going to go deep on the leading and lagging indicators, but basically think about the leading indicator as something that'll help you predict the future. A lagging indicator is something that helps you what has happened in the past. So a core functional accountability chart has to have a list of all the functions. Who is the person, the one person accountable for each of those functions? What is a leading indicator? And what's a lagging indicator for that function? What this does for you is it creates a lot of clarity on who is in what role and are they able to do that role effectively or not. So you could also take this core functional accountability chart to the next level by doing some color coding on the functions. So a green would mean that the function is running smoothly without any kind of challenges. A yellow would mean that the function's okay, but it needs some improvement. If it is red, it means that it requires a lot of attention and it can be a drag on the company. You might ask, why is it so important to have the right people in the right seats doing the right things? If you want to get high performance, there needs to be some kind of a fit between what the person wants to do and what the role requires of them. If that fit is not there, you're going to find that people are kind of grinding away, but they're not necessarily enjoying the work, and which again kind of creates a drag on the company. As CEOs and business owners really think about growing and scaling their company, going to the next level, they have to be aware of one thing, which is what got you here won't get you there, right? Which is the name of a very famous book by Marshall Goldsmith. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that phrase, right? What got you here won't get you there. You have to be thinking about, who are the people who have made you successful until now? And are those the right people who will make you successful for the next phase? In many cases, that may not be true, right? You might have had some people who have made you successful until now, but they may not be able to continue in the same role as you go to the next level, which means that either their role needs to be rescoped and their responsibilities need to be more focused. You might need to bring in more senior people or more talented people, more skilled people who can then take you to the next level. But the trap that a lot of CEOs fall into is that they feel like it's all about loyalty. This person has been with me for the last 5 years, for the last 10 years, and I can't confront them and tell them that they're not doing the job right for us to go to the next level. So I'm just going to put up with it. Now, that is doing a disservice both to that individual because they don't necessarily feel satisfied because you are not satisfied. And it's also doing disservice to the company because you're not putting the company on the path to achieve its highest potential. So being able to have those candid, difficult conversations is really crucial for you to really kind of grow the business and take it to the next level. Let me just give you an example. I used to live in the United States, my brother was living in Australia, and my parents were living in India. And we were trying to plan a family reunion, which involved booking a lot of tickets, getting the right types of visas, making the hotel reservations, getting the cars arranged, transportation, a lot of different details. Now, as we were going through that process, if there's not enough clarity on who is doing what, it can lead to a lot of surprises, right? And these are not the pleasant kind of surprises, but actually unpleasant surprises, a lot of frustration. And I'm talking about a simple thing like planning a vacation, a family vacation. Now imagine a complex business that you're running. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces. A lot of different people need to do things in a certain way, and you need to have clarity on exactly who is doing what and when they're doing it. If you don't have that clarity, you will see that there are missed deliverables, there's poor quality, there's a lot of rework, and there's a lot of frustration. Those are the common symptoms that there's lack of role clarity, which means that you're not going to have a culture of accountability, which means that you're really going to struggle with execution. There's one tip I want to give you, and that comes from the book Creating a Culture of Accountability, which is by my friend Mark Green, who is a mentor and a friend. And he has a suggestion. He says, ask all of your team members, and you want to begin with your leadership team members, to do a simple exercise. When they take a 3x5 index card, and on that index card, they write the role at the top, and then they answer the question, what are the 3 most important results the company expects you to deliver in exchange for paying your salary? So Mark suggests we ask this question of our team members. What are the 3 most important results the company expects you to deliver in exchange for paying your salary? When I first suggest this to my clients, sometimes they're a little bit skeptical. They're like, oh my God, that's a very tough question. Do you really want me to ask them to clarify that? I'm like, yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. It is provocative, but it really helps people get clear on what do they need to do in their role for them to be successful and for the company to be successful. And that can be tremendously clarifying in terms of the role and the results associated with that role. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'd love to hear your questions in the comment section. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and check out my next video.